I'm going to go back to the very beginning, and here we go. We are going to talk about how to create note cards. This is a good opportunity for you to go to your project, which you're going to click over there. You're going to find your project, click on this project, and just make sure that you have shared. There will be a plus sign. It's a little one. It's not this color and it's not this big. I just want to bring that to your attention. You want to click on that and it's going to ask you to share it. And you'll go to the top and you'll go to your teacher's inbox and put 21311. Okay. Now, the people who have envelopes, they have shared with me. But if you haven't, please click on that. Take care of that right now. Also, this is a good time to make sure that you click on here to put your research question, and this will pop up, okay? And it will actually show, you will enter the research question and the thesis over here. So I'm using all different projects, so some of it's not on the woman falling off the fire escape, it's on other things, but it's the same procedure that you follow. Okay, so my question is, what does the photographer do to enhance the effectiveness of this picture? And we're going to have a little lesson on the lines, the shapes, all of these different things that he uses. So, or she uses. We have some female, at least one photographer in this one. And this one says, the photographer uses lines, colors, and shapes to add dramatic effect to this picture. Okay, again, lines, colors, and shapes, and it was touched on in that, pardon me, in the picture that you saw. Or rather, not in a picture that you saw, but in the literary analysis that you read, they did touch upon these elements that are used. And so I believe there are 5, but we'll go back over that. But anyway, you need to do this as soon as you figure out which of those elements you're going to use. This is lines, colors, and shapes. All right, click on new note card. Then this is going to open. It's a new note card with 3 sections that require information. Now, the first one is the source right here, and it's got a drop down menu right here, and it'll have every source that you entered of all of the articles that you have. It will have all of those authors' names. Well, right now it only has 1. So just make sure it's in there, and you will always have to tie your card here into whatever source it is. So you click on that, and then you'll see, I think I used Robert Hill on this one because it was the Ruby assassinating or killing Lee Harvey Oswald. The second thing is you got to copy and paste. Yes, that's right. Copy and paste the quotation from the article with the page number. Now you will notice that I don't do that on the example because it's an HTML and it has no page numbers. But normally you would put the page number there. And I'll tell you why later. Okay, then number 3, you paraphrase your quotation from the article. And that's why I'm having you do a mini lesson on paraphrasing. It's not something that you'll learn overnight. It's different from summarizing or the main idea. And so we're going to talk about that and how you do that. Again, it takes a lot of practice, but you can do it. And then number 4, you're going to, in this third box, answer the question, so what? So why does this information matter? So first, choose the source, meaning the author from the drop down here. Secondly, in this box, we're going to copy the quote. In this box, we're going to paraphrase what we wrote here. Third box is, why does this and the paraphrase of this matter? Okay. Now, in the next slide, I'm showing you this very first box here with the quotation. I'm leaving these two out. Okay, so when we get here, again, you need to give your note card a title. So if this is an author one, you might want to just put author number 1. Because when you when you go and look at them all together on the screen, you got to know which one that is. If you put author, then you're going to have to open it and find a more specific. It could be author birthplace, author career, whichever you want to do. So I actually am using a biography that I got from Biography Reference, and I will add those to your list. Biography Reference is where I would start and see what you can find. Well, this is because it's a biography. It doesn't have a lot of information on him. So what I did is I looked up Robert H. Jackson, and when I couldn't find that, I looked up Ruby shooting Lee Harvey Oswald. So if you can't find, for example, Steve McMurray, who did The Afghan Girl, just type in Afghan Girl and it'll probably bring him up because he's a Pulitzer Prize winner. That's why I tried to get all the ones that were Pulitzer Prize winners, so I knew they had to have something on them. So this is pretty just writing down the facts, man. That's all we've got. Okay. So these are all what I quoted. I've copied and pasted it there. Okay, now I'm going to show you the next section, which is paraphrasing it. I put here paraphrases 81 words, 2 more than the original quote. So if you think the paraphrase is always shorter, it's not. It can be longer. It's putting this in your own words so as not to plagiarize. You don't want to plagiarize. So you will put it in your own words. So I'll let you go back and read that. But basically, it's talking about that he started out, he was with Dallas Times Herald. And actually, I should have put this, and that in italics. I'd have to do that if I use this in my paper because it's the name of a publication of a newspaper. And so I talked about how he did that and how he did stock car races, the beginning of his time as a photojournalist. But I also mentioned that he was in the U.S. Army for a year before all of this. And if you know anything about history, it had to probably be during the Korean War. It's before Vietnam, and it's after World War II. Okay, so now I paraphrased it. Now I'm going to fill in why in the world is it important for me to know this about him. And so I said, and I will read this to you. This is the answer to so what. Jackson was in the garage of the Dallas Police Headquarters. Oh, well, okay. See, this is where I made a mistake. So I'm going to have to get that fixed before I put it in my paper. Okay, Jackson was in the garage of the Dallas Police Headquarters taking pictures. I should take the walls out. when Ruby emerged in front of him and shot Oswald. This was a chance in a lifetime for Jackson, who happened to be in the right place at the right time. That's why it's a big deal. And what that says to me is, will I one day be carrying a phone when something happens and I'll be able to take a picture of it? Because you will find some of these photographers, especially one, not in this group, but in the one that you'll get a 250 points from. That one, it was just a guy that was roaming around in his car and saw something happen and went over there and took a picture. Okay, so that's what, so what? It could happen to anybody. Of course, he was a photographer, but who knew? What they were doing is they were transferring Oswald to a, quote, safer, end quote, environment. And unfortunately, on his way, he was shot. Now, my note cards, when you show this to me, I'm going to go back. When you show this to me, I'll only see your 3 piles, and they're going to be photographer, photograph, and context and location. Okay, and let me see, because I may have gotten these out of order, but I'll just go ahead. When you finish, all I'm going to see are these 3 cards. They're your piles. And so what you'll do is you will go to one of these cards before there are any of these up here. It's just these cards, and you can actually color them if you want to. But you won't see these 3 cards at first. And there's a screen that shows you that. So you have to make 3 piles. So what I would do, I know that this is the picture being sold. So that's about the photographer. Okay, he was a bank clerk. Okay, I would probably click on this, and this screen will pop up. Now, you have to go to one of these cards. You just can't make a pile from nothing. You have to go to one of those cards and know what the name of the folder, I guess you would kind of say, is. So you're going to click on that. It's going, and then you're going to go here, click on this, and then it'll say give the pile a name. And so you're going to give it either photographer, photograph, context, and location. Okay, so then once you do photographer, you just drag these up, and it tells you there are 4 cards behind this. This will give you how many cards are behind it. So click one of them and make a pile. Okay, you click on Charles Porter, you click on that, you click on this, you put photographer and put save. Then you have this. So now you can pull him up there, and here, and now you can pull all these others up there because there's a pile. You do that with each one of them. Now, if you want to see the cards underneath, like I had them in the previous one, you have only 3 piles, and they should be titled exactly like these: photographer, photograph, context, and location. When I get in, this is all I want to see when you turn it in for a grade. Your other cards, all the photographer cards will be tucked under that, all the photograph tucked under that, and all of the context and location tucked under that. And again, I can click on this, okay, for 2 things. I can click on the arrow again. If I have all the cards down here, I can click on it again and they'll go back up to just 1 card. I just don't want a busy screen. I'm sure you can understand that. Okay, so that is how you make your note cards. If for some reason this is not clear, I need to know, please email me, because if you're having that problem, and you know what, I don't really need to tell this class because they're wonderful at getting in touch with me if they need to. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and end this one, and let me know if you have any questions.